Welcome to It Begins With Us, the podcast about domestic violence abuse. It is our mission to help anyone in a domestic violence situation. We started this podcast
as a safe space for survivors to tell their stories.
Completely confidential.
We can disguise your voice.
You can be off camera, and we're here to listen. Let's get started.
Welcome back to It Begins With Us, episode 7.
So we just wanted to do maybe a quick, we'll see if it's a quick episode on why we started this, maybe some updates on what's going on. It is 2025, we're in January, so it's a new year. We got a lot of things coming. For those of you, some of you follow us already, and you know, Maria, this is Angelica. We are survivors. This was Angelica's dream, and
yeah. So it started out as, I felt like I was kind of stuck, and I needed to do something more with my life. And so I prayed on it, and I got the same dream about 3-4 times, same exact dream. And so I think it was God telling me, like, hey, this is something that you need to open. And it wasn't something that I dreamt about and then the next day it happened. It took months to figure out what I wanted to call it, what I wanted to all entail, what was my main focus and things like that. Obviously, I wanted to be able to help domestic violence survivors not go through what I went through, or even what Maria went through, or any other survivor, what we went through. It's just wanting to be able to show you guys that there's so much more life out there once you decide to take that step of leaving that situation. Because I'm sure that everybody always asks, like, why did you stay so long? What took you so long to leave? Like, why didn't you just get up and leave? And there's so much more than just walking out the door, because you get scared and there's all these reasons. And so I started the organization, took months to find the name, prayed on the name. Everything that I do, I pray on. And when I do that, I feel very blessed to be able to see again in my dream, like, what I'm supposed to do, or if it feels right. So I owe a lot of it to God into why the organization started. Once I got the name figured out, I started to figure out who I wanted to be a part of my board, and Maria was one of the first individuals that popped up in my head, because I remember one time I went into her store and we talked for, I don't know how long it was, but
almost
we talked.
An hour.
Yeah, and then we got super emotional, and it just, you find the right people at the right time, and having Maria jump on board has been everything but a blessing with her on there.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. We went to high school together. We graduated the same year. We were both in the relationship where we went through domestic violence when we met each other. We went our separate ways because I moved away when I got married, and she stayed. And I hadn't seen her for years. I just kept up with her on social media, and then all of a sudden her social media wasn't there anymore, and I wondered what happened to Angelica. And then when I moved back, I started seeing her around town, Home Depot.
Yes.
At my store, she would come in all the time. It's so nice, especially like people that you grew up with or that you knew from a long time ago that support your business. So I felt really grateful that, like, we reconnected again because of that, because I have friends and family that are close, like from now, that I have them in my life now, that aren't supportive. So it was nice, like, for people from back then that are more supportive, or strangers that I've met that are supportive. So it was really nice. She came in one day and we started connecting, and, like, what happened? I had no idea you had gone through this. I've been a little bit more vocal about what I've been through, because it's been 14 years since I left my abusive relationship. Thankfully, I wasn't there as long, and it always breaks my heart when I hear other people's stories, because I'm like, wow, like, it's so horrible, what they went through. And it doesn't register in my mind, like, that what I went through was as bad until I hear myself talk about it. Like, when I've heard the podcast, and I'm like, every time I'm like, wow, like I went through that. It was worse than I thought. Like I didn't think that it was that bad just because I got alive, you know. And um, but honestly, it changes you forever. Honestly, I do believe that. It makes you the person that you are. Um, for instance, I'm very careful, like on social media. I share a lot, but I share um, not publicly. What is it? Privately.
Private. Mm-hmm.
To people I only know. I'm very like I don't like to have. I have a lot of people that I know on social media, but if they're not personally people that I personally know, I don't add them. I don't interact with people. I get messages all the time, especially from men, and I just nope, nope, nope.
Yeah, delete.
Yeah. Um, you learn how to work social media when you've been through something like that. Just because the first year I was 19 years old when I left. At 19 years old, you know, you got hundreds of friend requests from men all types of ages, and so not knowing who I was interacting with, and just my ex trying to spy on me and still be in my life. He would make fake accounts all the time. So I got into this mode of I have to um, like verify, you know. I have to make sure I know who I'm adding. I can't just have a whole bunch of people. Anybody that I knew that interacted with him at all or had any type of connection, I deleted, even if they were my friends, because I didn't want any connection to him whatsoever. So, still to now, like it's been 14 years and I still believe the same thing. And I mean, you see it now too. Like, there's women that have kids and they add everybody that adds them. And then there's situations like it'll be on the news, like, oh, it's so and so, you know, had a friend on social media and they were stalking the kids, you know, just because we're so easy to post, oh, congratulations to my kids' first day of school, and then you post their school and where they go to.
Yeah.
You tag the school or the event that they're at, and you know, there's so much things that we have to be careful out there that we post. I'm sure I'm not the best at it, but I know I'm careful with things that I post.
Yeah.
So
100%. I think it was like our first couple episodes when we talked with Sham. I did. I got scared and terrified, and I took all my kids' pictures off my social media. My social media is private, but it doesn't stop people from pretending to be your friend and still sharing your stuff on the back end. So I ended up taking all my kids' stuff off my social media because it's a terrifying world out there, and you hear all these stories nowadays too. I don't know if you've seen them about, you know, abductions and things like happening like right down the road.
Right.
And just by what you say, like what people share and what people post. But
yeah, it's super scary. Like I said, it affected me in that way. Also, just knowing what things I don't look for in a relationship, and and then later finding out also what I do when I'm in a relationship. So a lot of things, like right away I noticed they're red flags, and it opens up your world to being aware of who you can surround yourself with and who you can't.
Yep.
Unfortunately, not abusers are very good at disguising who they are sometimes, and so they make you fall for being the nice guy, you know, being somebody that wants to help you, being somebody that gives you everything that you never had. And I remember falling honestly victim of that again after I got divorced. I didn't realize that it was bad until just a few weeks ago. It kind of like came back to me because of a conversation I had, and I'm glad I was able to recognize the red flags right away. I'm not saying that I walked away from it instantly. I didn't. It took a few months but I still was able to because I started to recognize all those things. And um, it makes me sad when people reach out to me and say, you're so brave. Um, I'm so glad like you got away from that. But what people don't understand is, even though like I got away from that, or Angelica got away from that, or any of the other girls, that have been in that situation, it takes years. Mm-hmm. It takes a long time until you walk away from it, but you won't know that until you're ready for it.
Right.
Like even just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We've had how many people now like that have canceled on us because they're not ready to talk about it.
Yeah. And it's okay to communicate with us. Like, mm-hmm. if you want to be a part of our podcast, it's amazing and it's great. And, if you end up getting scared and change your mind, like, it's 100% okay. Just let us know, like, hey, I thought I was ready, but I'm not. Just letting us know, and that's okay. We're not rushing anybody. We have a lot of really good positive feedback. We got really amazing feedback from our special guest, Stacy, from last week's episode. It was her first time being on a podcast and her first time sharing a little bit more of her story. And she flat out told us right after the podcast that she said that she was scared and she was nervous and she wasn't sure she was ready to hear it. Well, when we posted it and we shared it with her and she listened to it for the first time, I could tell she was in tears when she replied to us, and she was just like, I feel better. She's like, I was scared and I was nervous, but listening to myself and listening to my story, she's like, I was able to heal in a different way than I ever thought that I could. And that's why we decided to do the It Begins With Us, because we found the power behind it after talking about all of the trauma that we've gone through. Even though it's not 100% all of our stories, it's a part of it that still bugs us. And when we talk about those traumas and we talk about those triggers, it hurts for that second, and we might cry and we might tear up and stuff like that. But the feeling that you get afterwards, it's
a relief.
It is. And you're able to close that, or even if you don't close it all the way, but you bring it up again to somebody else, mm-hmm. it doesn't affect you in that same way. Mm-hmm. So it's like a different way of coping, a different way of healing. And she loved it. Like, she was like, I want to do it again. She was like, I liked it. Like, it's a powerful thing that we're doing here. And that's kind of why we chose to do it this way and continue to try and get people to open up about it, because it is truly healing in a different way than you thought just by saying it.
Yeah, having other women that can relate to your struggles, what you've been through, and how to get through it, it just means a lot. And we've been through it. I've kind of been feeling like just lately I noticed something today that it almost like bugged me in a way, to think that I feel that other women sometimes before were more open to me about situations and things that they've gone through, because they feel like they could relate to me. But now that they see me that I'm successful, I feel like women are more closed off to me sometimes.
Really?
Like they think that because I'm successful, like that I've never been through that, or that I won't be able to relate. But I'm still the same person, mm-hmm. and that's not going anywhere. That's not going to change. Deep down inside me, like, I came from a hard place, and that's who made me the person I am today. So I know that when we go through things and when we're getting over it, we're going to change. We tell ourselves, like, we're not going to go back. I'm not gonna be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. But that wouldn't be like your authentic self if you believe that way. I know I've said that many times, like, I'm not going to be, that dumb person that believes everything they say to me, that I just kneel down every time that they ask me to do something. That I'm just going to be tough now. I'm going to build tough skin. And it's not me. It's not. I'm a sweet, kind, loving person. It doesn't matter how many times you've hurt me. I'm still going to be loving and kind, because that's what I put out there, and if they choose to hurt me, even if after I'm kind, that's on them. Mm-hmm. It's not on you. If you choose to always be good will come.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I just want you all to know that I'm always open to hearing stories, situations. Like, I've been asked a lot. I don't think in the past, I would say 4 years since I left my marriage, that I've been told, I'm so proud of you. I hope one day I can get out like you did. I know two in particular that have gotten out. Um, Sadly, once she didn't go back, but she went into another relationship that is like causing her the same exact thing because she wasn't ready. So we got to recognize when we're, we got to work on ourselves and be ready to be in that next relationship, not
Yep.
just jump right into something again and then go back to the same situation you were in before.
Yep.
Because it's hard. It's hard when you've already been like have that instilled in your brain, how the abuse is always there. It's always there. Get counseling, talk to people, ask for help. The help is always available. We just got to learn how to ask for it and where to look. So
Absolutely.
Angelica has lots of resources. I'm a little
Yeah.
busier sometimes and I can't answer, but I always go to Angelica. She is so smart. She knows all of
Thanks.
that.
I mean, right now where we're not like, so I guess exciting news is we found our office space. We found our office room. Right now we are going to be in the process of kind of redecorating the room and getting it ready for you guys. For a little bit, it will be appointment based and then strictly for our podcast, just until, things start looking up on the grant side of things. But don't think that you can't talk to us. If you guys want to talk about your story or talk about your pain and your trials, that everything that you're feeling, and you don't feel comfortable going anywhere else, like, we're still here with open arms and we can set up an appointment. You guys can meet us at our office and we can just hear you out. It doesn't have to be on a podcast. It doesn't have to be, in public. Like, that's what we're doing, and that's why we're here, is we're here to listen to you, and so you guys aren't by yourself, because it is so hard. And Maria is 100% right. Like, it takes years to find yourself and it takes years to love yourself again, because being in a abusive relationship or a narcissistic relationship or whatever abuse that you've endured, it takes years for you to just get out of that cycle, because that's what it is. That's what they're so good at, is they're so good at circling you in. And that's why we're here. We're here to help you get out of that cycle, no matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
So we do have our office space, so that's super exciting. And we've got a lot of really good things planned for the year, that we can't wait to talk about. We can mention a couple of them. So we are...
Got Shares with Purpose.
Yep, Shares with Purpose, which is phenomenal. Once a month, we will schedule you an appointment with Jessica Jones. She is absolutely phenomenal. She is a survivor herself, and she has offered to do Survivor Sunday once a month, to be able to cut your hair for all of you beautiful survivors out there, giving you a different glimpse of confidence.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I hadn't read her story. She came up to me one day when I was out and she said, "Hey, like, you make that guava drink, right?" And I said, "Yes." And I didn't recognize her. And she goes, "And you're part of the domestic violence organization that just that's opening up, right?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "I really want to talk to you. I want to do free haircuts for women, once you guys get up and running." And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I hadn't heard her story. So when I saw it come out, and I was like, that is so amazing that she's willing to give back, because she's a survivor herself. And just knowing, when I was going through it, and I didn't have no friends, I didn't have nobody to talk to, but my hairstylist, she was my best friend, because that's where I could go, that's the only place I was allowed to go, really. And spending that hour or 2 hours getting my hair done, is just so nice to talk to somebody about that could understand me, knew what I was going through. And so for her to be doing this for women that need it, for free,
For free,
that is so amazing.
It's
and
amazing.
I'm so happy that we have her be able to do that for us.
Yes. So her first appointment for the haircuts is February 16th. Pretty sure February 16th. We'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it is. So just reach out to us. You can text us. Our number, we'll put it in here too, but it's on our websites now, or not our websites, our
It's February 16th.
our socials. Our email's on there, our phone number's on there. So feel free to call us, text us, email us, whatever you want, and we'll get you scheduled with Jessica. And
And then we also have the Easter bar hop with LK Realty coming up in April.
in April. So sometime in April, we're working on all the details on that one, but that LK Realty bar hop is super fun.
It is.
It is fun to get out there, hang out with, other survivors or just meet new people. It is such a great way to be able to, I don't know, just be
have
out there.
fun. Yeah. Get get out and do something fun. You don't have to drink if you don't want. It's socializing.
Yep.
I mean, they did one last year, and they picked another foundation to donate to, and then they did one for Easter. I didn't go to that one, but then I went to the one in July. Yeah, July.
Yeah, I think it was July.
That one was for
Casas.
Casa. Yeah, they were raising funds for Casa, and I mean, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many people there. We had to started getting close, and I remember you were there. It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Like, we
so
walked around, and
if you guys want to come hang out with us for the Easter bar hop, we will post details as soon as we get them. But it's going to be awesome because LK Realty is a really phenomenal team, and we are very blessed to be able to have them in our little circle and to be able to raise funds for 1614. So that's super, super awesome.
Yeah.
And then we do have our new board member, Sydney Flores. You guys probably remember her from one of our first episodes that we've done with It Begins With Us. And she is in charge of the Stop the Silence charity ball. She did her first ball last October. And we 1614 went as supporters, and that was super fun. But this year it's going to be a lot bigger and a lot different just because it's our own board member. And she has the heart of gold. She's going to be putting so much love and effort into this. And all the proceeds for that ball, it'll be in October. October 11th is the goal. That special date is very, very important for Sydney. And so that's going to be our day for the Stop the Silence charity ball. And all proceeds will go to us as well at 1614.
Yes. So lots of things coming up. We're still in the search of, finding a building to be able to start this off. Now that we have our office space, we're able to apply for grants. If you or anybody also is wanting to donate or help us out with in any way, even things that we don't know about, like Jessica donating haircuts.
Yes.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you have a really awesome idea and you want to be a part of the community, let us know. We'd love to collaborate with you and be able to do something special with you, just like Jessica has and just like Sydney has and LK Realty. And
yeah, it's so nice that we have such a giving community, wanting to help. And I know that we're talking about all these great things that have happened, people trying to help us out. It's not always positive.
Right.
It's sad, honestly, to be able to tell you guys, but because of what we're doing, it's not always looked at as a positive thing, which really hurts me to think that there's people out there that think this is not a positive thing that we're doing, that they think it's negative. We honestly have had a really hard time trying to find a place to have our office just because of what we're doing. A lot of people, there's been backlash, right? Because of what we're doing. They don't want us around where they're at because they think it brings in a negative space.
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. Yeah. For everybody surrounding them, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're survivors ourselves, and we know what it's like to have a crazy ex or somebody looking for us. um, we're trying to do this like the safe way, you know, and trying to protect the people involved, and it hurts my feelings, and I know it hurt Angelica's feelings to be told, you know, that they don't want us around,
or that they were concerned,
yeah,
or
that they were concerned mainly of what we were bringing in to the office, and I, as women, you know,
we should be building us as women should be building each other up, and even not just women in particular, like the whole world should be lifting each other up and supporting each other. Like you don't have to have money to support somebody.
No, and it's a real thing. It's so many people go through this, not just women. We go through this all the time, everywhere. It's sad how much we go through it. If you have never been through it and you don't know anybody that has, you're very lucky.
Very.
Honestly, I never thought I would be going through this. Like, my mom didn't go through an abusive relationship. I mean, there's some things maybe that I find it as red flags, you know, but my parents have been married for 35 years, and they're happily married as it can be, but there's never been any type of abuse. And so I didn't grow up with that thinking, you know, like domestic. I mean, I grew up with them being abusive to me, but not them to each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I grew up with my parents abusing each other, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's not always just, oh, if my parents are abusive to each other, like I'm gonna do the same thing. No, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You just never know how, you know, other people view you. If you're a kind-hearted person, especially, you know, people take advantage. So you just gotta know who you're able to be nice to, who you should be nice to, and who you should stay away from.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
If you have any questions like about our organization, or you know what our mission is or what our end goal is, like you can talk to any of us on 1614, and we're happily able to tell you. Not everything you hear from other mouths is true. So if you are, you know, have questions or anything like that, like we're not going to get offended by you asking us 1,000 questions, even if it's the same thing. Like we're going to tell you from the bottom of our hearts that we're not in this organization for money. We're not in it for anything but to be able to help everybody else that's in a similar situation than what we went through. We don't want you guys to feel like what's the word? Like, we don't want you guys to feel like we're stepping on toes, or anything like that. Our main goal is just to be able to show you guys that there's so much more out there than the abuse that you've endured, and to help you walk through life in a better way.
Yeah, and we're just another resource, you know. There's so much help that we need out here. We're not here to take it from anybody. We want to be an extra help, because the help we have now is not enough.
Right.
I know that when we had, I don't think we've talked about this, but we had a couple weeks ago, we were on the local channel. We received $500 from Mountain America Credit Union. Shout out to them. Thank you so much for looking at us and finding us, and you know, arranging it with local News 8 to do this for us. It was a big surprise. We had no idea that we were being gifted the $500. So it really means a lot, you know, for them to be doing for them to do that for us.
Right.
When we had no idea they had heard about us.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know for personally, and I think for you as well, you know, we both kind of went through a little bit similar emotion when that happened, when it was aired on the news. Even though I talk about everything publicly, it's still hard to know that, like, my ex is still out there.
Right.
And that his family watches. And it took maybe 2 days for me to, like, process it and be okay with it, because I was scared. If you guys look at the video that Channel 8 posted, my body language, I was a little like kind of sideways because I didn't want to get my face in full shot, because I don't know how much they see online of the things I post. So I don't know if they've kept in contact with anything that I do. So if they follow any of my my business pages, or if they even follow 1614, or they've watched any of the podcasts that we've done. But for sure now that my face and name was on the local news, I'm sure they know. And they might even be looking at this podcast right now. So it was scary. I'm not going to lie. It was really scary. And I think you had a similar
because
reaction to it
I
as
messaged you and I was like, and you have to find the right people. Like, I know Maria's like one of my people. She's like one of my main persons that I can go to and talk to about everything and anything, and she'll tell me straight up how it is. And you told me, you're like, who cares what he thinks? He has no right to continue to control your emotions and how you feel and about the good that's in your life. He no longer has that control over you. And I'm like, dude, you're right. And it's like, as a survivor, like, but you still...
Yeah. It's nice hearing it again from somebody. Like I told her, at least 5 people already sent him. By the next day, at least 5 people had already sent that to him. Cool. Like, I hope he does see it, because thanks to what he did, that's why you're such a strong person. That's why you're doing what you're doing. It didn't knock you down. You're a much better and stronger person because of it. It sucks to say that, but it is,
Yeah.
The reason, like, I was scared, and I still think it could still happen, is that my ex's family or him, that they'll retaliate, that they'll say, no, that didn't happen, or she's a liar. We were just talking about a couple seconds ago, like before the podcast started, about how my ex would cheat all the time online, and that I asked him if he had Facebook before Facebook time, and he said no, and he swore to me he didn't have Facebook, and he had the same password and username for everything he used, and I knew it. I knew what the passwords were, so I logged into Facebook. I had never used Facebook myself, so I didn't know how it worked, and sure enough, there was a Facebook opened in his account. We were fighting and screaming, and it got loud, so his mom went and got in between. She said, what's going on? And she asked why we were fighting again, and I explained to her, well, he has a Facebook, and he straight up lied to me that he didn't have a Facebook. And she said, let me see. And I logged into it, and she said, are you sure? Like, because he's like, no, she opened it. She's the one that went and opened it, and it wasn't, I've never used it. I've never had a Facebook before. She did it just so she could get mad at me. And I was like, how, like, crazy can they be? Yeah, to say that I'm the one making it up, that I'm the one that did it, when he's the one that did it. Right. That he was using it to talk to girls. And then she goes, are you sure? And she believed him. She said, are you sure, like, that it wasn't you? And she started blaming me. And so then we went to the timeline, and he had posted something and started following some girls like over a year before. I didn't live with him.
Right.
At that time, I didn't have access to a computer. I didn't even have access to internet. So for them to lie and say that I was the one that made it, like, it was just in my head, like, I'm crazy. I'm going crazy, right. And no matter what he did, like, she still believed him. And it was hard. It was hard to get out of that situation, just because I had no support. Nobody believed me. And so even though she saw him literally beating me, hurting me, had me pinned down to the floor, punching me, she still will get up and say he never did that. And she'll make up stories that it didn't happen. She put her hand on that Bible and swore that when we were in court, that she never saw him hit me. That the videos and photos that I had of the bruises on my neck and my face and my body, that he never caused. That the bruises on my neck, that they were hickeys because I was a whore. Wow. That I liked attention, and that I took those photos and videos of myself because I liked attention. It wasn't because her son hurt me. It wasn't her son choking me. When she literally saw him doing those things to me. She was the only person that ever experienced it. She was the one that saved me from him. She took him off of me several times. And if it wasn't for her being there, like, I wouldn't be here right now. She saved my life more than once. And I know those same people are going to be the ones defending him, saying that he didn't do anything to me.
Right.
And so that's really hard.
Yeah, that's hard. That's
really hard. Even though it's such a positive thing, you know, being on the news and then receiving that grant, like, it hurt to be doing it at the same time. It's like a bittersweet, you know.
But it's like what you told me. Mm-hmm. Like, you deserve that happiness. You deserve that success. And don't let them take that from you. Yeah.
I know a lot of women that, like, I'm glad we have a like a community where we help each other. You know, there's groups where women ask about men, you know, what they've done and, you know, things like that in relationships. I'm glad that there's groups like that because it helps us, me being on those dating sites, you know, you see these men and all they talk about is the good things that they are, you know? And there's been several of them that I've come across and I'm like, first of all, you're not this, you're not that, and you're not that. But you look perfectly fine on a picture. Mm-hmm. You look like you got it together. But I know that you're none of those things that you're saying you are. Mm-hmm. So to be able to verify with other women, you know, like the men that we're scared of, the men that we're protecting each other from, just... I'm glad that it's happening. I'm glad we're talking about it. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't try to say bad things about my exes, but I will say the truth. If anybody ever asks me, you know, like who they were, like why it didn't work out, I'm not perfect. I have my own flaws. I know there's things that they didn't like about me, and I'll straight up admit it to them. You know, like, you know, I did these things that they didn't like about me, and it's okay. Right. But I'm also going to say the things that happened, the things that they did to hurt me, the things that they did to break my boundaries. It's not a sin for me to be talking about. It's not a lie for me to be talking about the things that they've done. Right. Because there's predators out there. There's abusers. Yep. And they try to hide it. They try to make you think that they're like so nice and so good. And we got to pay attention.
Yes. Open your eyes and listen to what your stomach's telling you, because the second that you feel that doubt, it's for a reason. Mm-hmm. Don't tell yourself that it's going to get better or it's your fault or it's going to go away. Like, it's telling you for a very specific reason, and we as females need to listen to ourselves more.
Yeah, and stick together. I know not everybody's out there to help, but listen. Yeah, listen to your gut. Like, if somebody says, you know, the person's this person, I mean, you don't always have to go and check it out for yourself.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, but I appreciate, you know, all the support that we've had. And
yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing, and your guys' constant feedback and your shout outs and your love and your sharing and everything that you've done for 1614, like, it's tearful. We get emotional. Yeah. We get excited, and we really appreciate you guys. We wouldn't be this far. We wouldn't be this passionate if it wasn't for you guys, you know, giving us the positive feedback.
Yeah. We're here to help each other out.
So yeah. So if you have any questions, you want us to you want to come talk to us, just text us, let us know. We'll love to have you in our office.
Thank you. Bye.
It Begins With Us is a supporting podcast for 1614 Revival Foundation.
Please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever possible. That really helps the show reach more people.
You can follow us on social media. The links are in the show notes. Do not hesitate to reach out. See you next time.